Cricket, our national treasure? Or dying irrelevance? Bodyline, tactical genius? Or national disgrace? The 100, inspired innovation? Or misguided mistake? Join the cricket conversation with a subscription to the Cricketer magazine.
Hello and welcome for some reason to the Sydney Cricket Ground where Warwickshire are taking on Gloucestershire in the Quarantine Cup this evening. It's Sam Morshead joined by Nick Friend somewhere in his virtual world. Nick, where are you today?
I'm in my bedroom. In my bedroom twinned with the top tier at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Which is a really convenient place to be, given that is where, for some reason, we've chosen to host Warwickshire and Gloucestershire's clash. Of course, Warwickshire go into this game having lost both of their first two, so they're desperately in need of a win as Jeetan Patel is out there in the middle and tossing the coin. What is it going to land? It's landed as a tails. That means Warwickshire have won the toss, and Jeetan Patel there just looking at his opponent to give him the information. A remarkable amount of telepathy going on there, and we're going to see Gloucestershire have a bat first up. Nick, what do you make of Gloucestershire's performances in the campaign so far?
Intriguing. I think intriguing would be the word you'd use to describe sort of everything we've seen across all 11 teams so far. And it's sort of a mixed bag of chaotic running, some fairly big hitting, and some fairly interesting fielding.
Yeah, absolutely right. Certainly the interesting fielding has been a point of note throughout the course of this competition. I'm sure we'll see some more of that later on today. But we're going to look at Craig Miles first up, opening up to Miles Hammond. Of course, Craig Miles of the Gloucester parish once upon a time, so a bit of a grudge match early on. He's taking an awful long time to decide where he's going to bowl this first delivery of this game. And Gloucestershire, of course, will get very close to qualification with victory here today. Is he ever going to start this match? This is forever.
It's a lovely little stalemate here. We've got the man at mid-wickets doing the odd sort of virtual man at mid-wicket, doing the odd leg wiggle, you might describe. Oh, here he comes. Here we
go. And Craig Miles up to the wicket. He's bowls it slightly short, and he's taken a body blow there first up, Miles Hammond. But managed to scamper through for a single. Well, that's a bit tasty to start, Nick.
That is, as you said, a bit of a virtual grudge match for old Craig Miles, and starting off by getting one in the ribs of a former teammate.
Well, we all know what it's like to go back and play against your former team. I often came up against Nationwide House whilst playing for Whitehorse Cricket Club in Wiltshire League Divisions 2, 3, 4, and it was always quite a tasty encounter. Anyway, Miles up to the wicket, he bowls to Hankins. Again, it's come off the body and it's squirted out towards backward point, and that's the world's worst throw.
And there we see the Cricket 19 lob throw that has become such a feature of this tournament. It's sort of turning a run-out chance into the easiest single of all time.
A real problem indeed it has been for Dan Mousley behind the controls for Warwickshire. Miles, a little bit of an outside edge, a leading edge, squirting out towards cover. And there's a single there. 3 without loss after 3 deliveries. Gloucestershire have been fantastic with the bat so far in this competition, and Miles Hammond has been a large part of that. We're going to see whether he can reproduce that later on today. Another pull into the leg side, another single it looks like. Yes, another dreadful throw. Dan Mousley has really struggled with his throwing. Well, apart from the keeper, apparently.
Gloves on as well. What a tremendous skill that is.
I've been a wicketkeeper for about, 20 years now, and I think my throwing has never got about faster than about 2 miles an hour. It's quite a skill to be able to throw with or without gloves, I find. Oh, what a shot that is. Right over the leg side and 4 runs. Well, this is a way to make your intent known early in the competition. Beautiful from Miles Hammond. Perfectly timed, picked up over mid-wicket, 1 bounce over the ropes. Not a lot that Warwickshire and their fielders could do to prevent that. Right, Miles again. Can he find a comeback? Up to the wicket, bowl, short again, and again off the body. That's 3 body blows in the over for the Gloucestershire batsmen, but they survive it. And eventually we're going to have the over called, are we, by umpire Roger?
No.
Oh, what's going on here?
We're having a... I thought he was about to review something there.
Review a blow to the head? Anyway, we've had 1 over, and the score is 9 without loss, Gloucestershire, and it looks like Oliver Hannon-Dolby is going to be next with the ball. Remember, you only get 1 over each as bowlers in this 5-5 Quarantine Cup format, so a lot of pressure riding on those 6 deliveries. And yes, we are. We're going to have Oliver Hannon-Dolby bowling as he looks to make the breakthrough for Warwickshire. Up to the wicket, bowl, short again, and what a shot that is. Just a dab over point for 4. My word, that was
extraordinary sort of virtual scythe, you might call that. That's sort of that shouldn't really have gone there, should it? But it has done.
Oh, and now he's gone big into the leg side, and it's over square leg, and that's 6 runs, 10 off the first 2 balls of this, the second over, and Oliver Hannon-Dolby, oh, he's giving himself a slap, and he deserves it. Dreadful stuff early on here. Fantastic pull though.
Although it's a clear plan, isn't it? We've got 3 men out on that leg side boundary. We're sort of looking, it feels almost overly thought out for a game of virtual 5-5. Trying to get the batsman caught out on the hook here.
Yeah, very, very good from the controls there of Dan Mousley, except now he's bowled a wide ball outside. Oh my word, he's gone! What a catch that is. The fielder there at point must have sprinted about 30 yards outside of the ring to take that. And it's showing immense speed, the speed of Britney Spears, I would say there. 5 or 6 seconds over 100 metres, that should be 4 any day of the week. And somehow, who is it that's managed to make that catch? Is it Ed Pollock? It is, you know, Ed Pollock. What a take that is. And Gloucestershire lose their first wicket with the score on 19, Nick.
We get that extraordinary, another extraordinary feature of this competition has been that catch followed by sort of ball thrown up in the air almost in one motion. It's not quite a glitch, but it's a lovely touch that I feel has become almost an integral part of this competition. The sort of ability to catch ball in one hand and to throw almost while the ball is still sort of nestling in the palm.
I think we call it the Herschel Gibbs, don't we? Oh, and what's happening here? Oh, he's gone to the wrong end. Oh, he's gone to the wrong end. There was a huge opportunity there.
A lovely piece of cricket there. There was an almost certain run out at one end and absolutely nothing at the other end.
Anyway, Hannon-Dolby back to the wicket and bowling. And oh, crikey. It's all happening here at, for some reason, the SCG. No ball is called by umpire Carl.
Is that the first time we've seen this competition?
There haven't been many. You have to go some to give away a free hit in this game. Hannon-Dolby in, pulled into the leg side. and there's going to be a single, and that takes Gloucestershire to 23 for 1 with 1 ball remaining of the second over. Chance now to see Hammond back on strike as Hannah Dalby looks to round off his over. A bit of footwork there from Hammond, and he's bowled it leg side, and well, I think everyone's missed everything there. That was a dreadful piece of cricket. I think everyone's going to want to forget that in a hurry. It's 4 runs of some sort to
off the glove or
Gloucestershire.
of some part of the virtual body, so to speak.
It might do. Oh, look at Chris Wokes' haircut.
It's even smoother than usual. They've done.
I don't know where whoever he's in quarantine with is masters with the scissors. My wife is very not like that.
I think Mel Farrell described it as coiffured a couple of days ago.
Coiffured? Hang on.
Yes, we've got a boundary.
Oh my word!
Is out, sir. Is that out?
Che Pujara, who's had a dismal tournament so far. What's he doing? Is anything behind the line?
You'd say no, but we've come to expect the unexpected.
No,
no, they've got it right.
It's gone. An incredible stumping by Tim Ambrose. Cheteshwar Pujara stumped Ambrose off a Chris Wokes bouncer for 3. And Gloucestershire in a little bit of bother early on as James Bracey comes to the wicket.
Terrific plans. He's seen him coming out of his ground. Tim Ambrose. That is straight off the training ground, isn't it? You'd like to think.
A hell of a training ground move that would be. Anyway, Wokes in again and pulled nicely into the leg side. And there'll be a single. Oh, they've come back for a second. Oh, they've done it again. What is this relay running? Gloucestershire finding themselves in all sorts of bother there and somehow getting out of it. Warwickshire's fielding has been pretty poor the whole way through this tournament. Bracey now 2 off 1 ball so far, and that's another dreadful delivery. 5 runs it is, and a no ball. Another free hit then for Gloucestershire. Wokes up to the wicket, bowls into the leg side, and a single out to deep mid-wicket. Did you notice there that Wokes began having just conceded 5 no balls with figures of 1 for 3?
1 for 3, I know, I noticed that. I feel for Tim Ambrose in this case. I fear that those have gone down as virtual buys.
Anyway, Wokes up to the wicket again, wide outside off stump, and it looks like the batsman has missed that by metres and has dribbled down for a couple of leg buys. Let's see whether this goes against Ambrose as well.
Or is that straight off the inside edge? Or that was interesting as well. I mean, that felt noticeably slower than the rest of the over, but that was up at 92.3 miles an hour. So, I mean, firstly, Chris Wokes will be chuffed with that, and I mean, obviously not the runs off the bat, but here we go again, and well fielded, sir.
Excellent work there at cover.
Always one in that situation we've learned in this game, though. Once the fielder is on the floor, you've sort of got the time before he can propel himself again.
Wokes short into the leg side. Another single to square leg. Another very feeble throw coming in to the bowler. That was down at 81.1. He's really varied his speeds here as Chris Wokes. And Gloucestershire finding themselves in a relatively strong position here with a couple of overs still to go as Jeetan Patel brings himself, or Mousley brings Jeetan Patel, or whichever way round you'd want to address it, onto bowl. Wily old campaigner, of course, Patel, and he's choosing to go round the wicket at the left-handed Bracey, who's 4 from 4. Straight into the spot, first ball that, and he's gone right over a wide-ish mid-on for 4. Class from James Bracey.
Of course, it's Jeetan Patel's final year, isn't it? He's retiring at the end of whatever becomes of this season. So what a way to go out with some 5-over cricket.
Absolutely, this is the world's premier cricket tournament, let's not forget. And again, Patel in, it's gone into the leg side, it's up in the air and it's a wicket. Caught by Banks at mid-on. And that's the end of Bracey. 3 cheers for Jeetan Patel. He might be 102, but he's still getting the wickets. And this, Nick, was a fairly tame end to a promising innings from James Bracey.
He's just tried to play that same shot again, hasn't he? He had about 40 yards to pick his spot, and sadly he has picked Liam Banks.
Gone for 8 from 6 balls, and Gloucestershire now 3 down.
What you would say in this Gloucester side, though, is that they have, unlike some others in this competition, they've gone seemingly with what looks like 6 batters, 5 bowlers kind of thing. So, whereas we've had incidents of Tymal Mills at 4, Mason Crane at 5, 7 bowlers picked in a competition where only 5 can bowl an over, it does look at least like we've got some semblance of sort of coordination to the team.
Absolutely. There's some sense of coordination to that shot there from Miles Hammond, who's picked out the leg side boundary with another gorgeous flick of the wrist, a trademark shot from him so far in this competition. He's been racking up the runs for Gloucestershire at the top of the order, and they're certainly pushing on now towards a score that's going to cause Dan Mousley, who of course was bowled out for 13 earlier in this competition, some trouble. Pulled into the leg side. At least one here. They thought about a second, but
a rare good throw.
A very rare good throw. Rarer than a Frenchman's steak for Warwickshire so far in this competition. Right, Patel round the wicket to Charlesworth. His first delivery, the young left-hander. Very promising young left-hander from Gloucestershire. And he's pushing into the leg side and sets off for 1. They'll turn and look for 2, and they'll come back for 2. And they'll get there. Good running by the Gloucester pair as they push on to 50. And Patel lining up again for his final delivery of the over. And it's gone high into the leg side and apparently over fine leg for 6. And oh my word, is that into the ladies' enclosure? That's gone a huge distance for a little flick off his pads.
We've seen a few, haven't we? That's 142 yards. That one. I don't know what's going on with these measurements, but that is unusually huge. Let's say
it's 120 metres. That Mousley bringing himself onto bowl and tucked into the leg side and a catching chance. And it's down. Oh, and that's a dreadful drop there at deep backward square leg. Who has dropped Ben Charlesworth's second ball? Mousley must be incredibly disappointed.
What an inspired piece of virtual captaincy that would have been. Bring his virtual self onto bowl. 3 men out on the leg side, chipped straight into the sort of the rib cage of the fielder. Who's, we've seen a few of them, haven't we? Sort of don't know quite how sort of the physics of that particular drop works. We've seen it a few times, and that is large.
Down the wicket now, straight, and over the fielders' heads. A lovely shot there. And Gloucestershire going out of sight, you would think now. Not sure how that hasn't gone for 6, to be honest. It looked for all the world that it had landed over the rope. Maybe one bounce just inside it. And the Warwickshire bowlers continue to toil away here at the SCG. It's a hell of a trip to be pummeled all over the ground for 5 overs. Mousley up to the wicket, bowls into the pads and clipped into the leg side, and it's another drop.
Oh, by the same fielder, I think. Was it number 8?
I think that's Banks at mid-on, and Mousley is having an absolute shocker.
This is a big score, you might say.
You would say. I believe this is perhaps the 3rd or 4th highest already, with a ball or 2 to spare. What's he doing? It's like he's preparing to go into a ruck. It's a very strange approach to catching a cricket ball. Right, Mousley. 3 balls left of the Gloucestershire innings. 63 for 3. A little bit short. An attempted sweep. Looks like it's come off the body there and run down towards fine leg. And Ambrose is in quick pursuit, and they can throw the ball hard with the gloves on in this game.
With his weaker hand with the gloves on, it is lovely to see.
Charlesworth, 10 off 3. A nice little cameo from the young man. And he shapes up again to face Mousley. 2 balls left of the innings. Clipped into the leg side. They're going to come back for 2.
No, they will.
They are. That's an absolute disaster of a run out.
Not convinced they've crossed it.
I mean, it's another great throw from the fielder out there in the deep.
Yeah, I don't think they've crossed. I'm not sure. Not quite sure where the non-striker is here.
So, well, I'm not sure what this. I don't think it's a review. I'm not sure what the replay is going to give us.
The umpire's looking the wrong way here. Is like his square leg is actually looking in the other direction.
I believe he spotted one of his favourite birds in the sky somewhere, just having a little bit of a daydream. But Miles Hammond has to go. Very attractive 22 from 12 deliveries. So you're absolutely right, Nick. The batsmen failed to cross in their attempt to get back for a second. That shows how bad that attempted second run was. Benny Howell comes to the crease. He's going to have 1 ball to face in the innings from Mousley, who comes around the wicket just short, pulled into the leg side towards square leg. He's caught and he immediately throws it over the boundary. Of course, for some reason in this game that's not 6, but it is a wicket, which means Gloucestershire have got 66 from their 5 overs in this one. And Nick, you would think that's probably going to be too much.
You would think so, wouldn't you? From the certainly from the way they fielded, you would think that is a lot of runs. And as you say, had we bowled out for 13 earlier in the competition, that might feel like even more runs. But they bowled them out in the end, which didn't feel likely at any stage really. But that is no. I think I'm right in saying that is the second highest score of the tournament so far, isn't it? So yeah, big chase coming up. One we suspect will not prove successful.
Let's not forget that Warwickshire were bowled out for 13 in their opening fixture, with Simon Harmer for Essex taking a hat-trick. All 3 of those were the batsmen attempting to play back foot cuts to leg stump deliveries. Right, David Payne to open to Ed Pollock. It's in the slot and Pollock has driven that high and mighty over wide mid-on, and that's going to be 6 off the first ball of the reply, and a statement of intent that from Warwickshire.
Came on well ahead of the rate at this stage.
Yes, the worm would be looking favourably upon Warwickshire at the moment.
They could do this with inside two overs if Ed Pollock carries on at that rate, and unlikely.
Oh, well, they could, Nick. I mean, your maths is correct. Yeah.
That is mathematically feasible, and that is all I can offer you at this stage.
Up to the wicket, short and pulled into the leg side. Is this going to go for another maximum? It doesn't look like it. No! Pollock lasts just 2 deliveries. And Warwickshire's excellent start has become a mediocre one very, very quickly.
Lovely. I reckon we've seen more short stuff in this game than we have done in some of the other games combined. There's been a lot of... I don't know if there's some bad blood here, but it's certainly been a clear tactic, hasn't it, to make players sort of hit square rather than straight.
Absolutely. Ryan Higgins with the catch there at square leg. David Payne has Ed Pollock, who's had an average campaign so far for 6. Right, Sam Hain, a lot riding on the shoulders of this young man, surely a future England international cricketer. But he's not going to be on strike now because there's an ex-England international cricketer at the other end, Ian Bell. Payne into Bell, who's flicked it through the leg side. My word, he's hit his first ball for 6. 110-yard glance into the leg side and over mid-wicket. And that was, well, it's not a typical Ian Bell shot. In fact, it only looked like a forward defensive, but it's absolutely flown. At 38 years old, 39 years old? How old is Ian Bell these days?
38 years old these days. 39 years old next year.
In fact, it was his birthday recently as well, wasn't it?
It was last Saturday, I want to say.
Happy birthday, Ian Bell, and that's a present to himself. In comes Payne. It's short again and pulled into the leg side, and the fielder runs round from square leg and lobs it like a cannonball. That's how you throw Dan Mousley into the waiting gloves of James Bracey, and it's just 1 run. Right, Sam Hain time.
Oh,
A bit of a think here for Gloucestershire and Payne before he comes in. Over the wicket to Hayne, whose first delivery is pulled, and it looked a bit top edgy to me. And he's taken. And Miles Hammond takes the catch, running round to square leg, and that's a big wicket for Gloucestershire. And Sam Hayne doesn't seem to want to go, but he's got to go. Warwickshire have lost 2 big wickets early on here. He never got any of that, did he, Nick?
No, I mean, as I say, it's a pretty clear plan, isn't it? Get the opposition player sort of on the pull, on the hook. Got a man out catching if he gets a bit any more of that. And but yeah, having big top edge straight up in the air. And once again, I mean, we've seen another 2 out of 2 catches here, which I guess has proven unusual certainly in this game where a fair few have gone down. But it's proving a plan that's worked, isn't it? Whenever they've gone full, they've sort of gone out the ground.
Right then. Bell back on strike. Payne's final ball of an eventful first over. 13 for 2 from 5 deliveries so far. Payne around the wicket, and Bell's missed that by several country miles. Okay, 1 over gone. 13 for 2 here, and here comes Jerome Taylor, the overseas for Gloucestershire, capable in this game at least of topping 97 miles an hour. Let's see how he fares against Tim Ambrose. He's taking strike for Warwickshire. Another long think by a Gloucestershire bowler before he trundles up to the wicket and bowls. And it's slapped. Oh my word! He slapped it straight to point.
97.3 mile an hour. That is an extraordinary piece of cricket.
An absolutely remarkable piece of cricket. Ambrose seemed to time the pants off this. And it's flown, and is it Shaker Pujara that is in the sort of backward point region? That it is. That's a remarkably athletic take from Shaker Pujara.
Once again, let's give some tentative credit to the controller here. He says, banged it in short, two men on the cut, and he's sort of weirdly nailed that straight at one of them.
It's a hell of a take, an absolute cracker from the Indian import Pujara. Not necessarily the individual who we'd associate with catches in the style of John T. Rhodes or Paul Collingwood, but it's a fantastic one nonetheless. And Warwickshire 13 for 3 as Mousley takes strike against Taylor, and they're appealing, I think, for an LBW, but the ball pitched so far outside leg it might as well have been on the second strip. Mousley on strike then. And Taylor up to the wicket and bowls short and pulled into the leg side by Mousley, who'll get off the mark. It's remarkably slow getting down the other end, but they take a single, and that's 15 for 3. They need to find some sort of momentum and impetus here. It's a big chase, 52 required from 21, and they need their old wily campaigner Ian Bell to do something truly special if they're going to taste victory here. Taylor to Bell, who's inside edged it through fine leg. We tried to see that excellent Bell cover drive. It hasn't quite paid off, but it's flown through fine leg boundary for 4. My word, that was close to his off stump. A bit of luck for Warwickshire, but that's what they need if they're going to have any chance of winning this game and keeping their hopes of qualification for the semi-finals intact. Remember, they lost both of their first 2 games in this competition and are in desperate need of victory here. 19 for 3, 48 required from just 20 balls as Bell takes strike again against Taylor. It's wide outside off stump, and oh my word, Ian Bell has just made me feel fantastic. That has gone absolutely miles. 134 yards over cover. Nick, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a funny situation here, aren't we? Obviously Dan Mousley's got 2 wickets in hand, which I guess is an issue. But in terms of the scoring rate, I mean, Ian Bell's flying along, Ed Pollock at his first ball for 6. I mean, 25. If you take the 25 in isolation after 11 balls, they'd be fairly happy with where they are, wouldn't they? But you would just think there might be a bit too much pressure here on Ian Bell. Oh, what's going on here? That is not out. There were 2 feet on a batting crease, so we play on.
We do play on. It's a dot ball is what it is. Another miss by several yards from a Warwickshire batsman. Chance now for Qais Ahmed. Will we see the quick bouncer? Will we see the elusive googly? Will we see the slide of the top spinner? or a traditional leg break. He's full of tricks. It's just straight and does nothing, and it's pulled into the leg side for a single, and that was all very disappointing after that build-up. Maybe we will get a little bit more entertainment from the second delivery. Warwickshire need boundaries here if they're going to win this, and they need them fast. So Ahmed around the wicket, perhaps looking to use some footholds. I'm not sure after 7 overs how many footholds there'll be. Bell driving down the ground. He's cleared the fielder at mid-on. 1 bounce 4. He looks in terrific nick.
He does, doesn't he? It's all on him. I think no one's under any illusions here. I mean, this game is purely on Ian Bell here, but he's going quite nice, isn't it? The pressure he's not feeling it. That is for certain at the moment. But yeah, as I say, lose him and you feel like this will unravel rather quickly.
I would absolutely agree, and it's a big chance for Gloucestershire. If they can take Bell, they take the game. Ahmed round the wicket, looking very much like a back foot no ball. Pushed into the leg side. Oh, it almost carried to the fielder there at a shortish mid-on. All very strange cricket. And there's just a single, and it's 31 for 3. Chasing 67 for victory. Back over the wicket now. Keeping the batsman guessing is Qais Ahmed. Well, that's that's very ordinary, isn't it? I mean, it's a leg side wide. Mousley's tried to pull a ball that was there for the sweep. We'll all forget about that, pretend it's never happened as Ahmed returns to the wicket. A little short. Again, pulling into the leg side. Come through for 1. Will they try a second? They are coming back for a second. That could be difficult. Oh my word.
What's happened there?
A direct hit from the boundary, and he's gone. Ian Bell has been run out going for a second, and that is a disaster for Warwickshire. But what a piece of fielding by Ryan Higgins in the deep. A cannonball arm, and I tell you what, that take from Qais Ahmed off the stumps isn't bad either.
The dive was a lovely touch, and the dive almost only came after the ball had hit the stumps, which I thought was noble, let's say. What we're looking for here, I mean, the ball. I mean that does appear to be out. Yes. That is the end of Ian Bell, and I would suggest the end of the game.
Well, they still need another 34 runs here, and that is a big ask for a last wicket pair as Chris Wokes makes his way to the crease.
Cometh the hour, cometh Sir Chris Wokes. Helmet clad, sadly, so we don't get to see that sort of weird virtual coiffure that we had earlier. But is that out as well?
There's an appeal from Ahmed. There's an appeal. It's not out, says umpire Roger, or is that umpire Carl? I can never tell the difference between the two. No challenge coming from the Gloucestershire captain. 1 ball left of the 3rd over, and Dan Mousley, who's looked pretty ordinary with the bat in terms of his digital self. He's of course behind the controls, not looked too bad in general. He's pulling into the leg side, and he's going to come back for a second goal. This is so dangerous, and this time the dive actually works. Almost like a fist pump there from Wokes after he made his ground, but that's the end of the over. A real mixed bag from Qais Ahmed over and around the wicket, but it's had its effect, and Warwickshire are in a spot of bother at 35 for 4 with 2 overs left and 22 still needed.
Change your bowling. The medium pacer is coming into the attack.
Right, Howe into the attack. Right arm over the wicket, slightly short outside off stump, and Wokes has tried to pull that and missed it by a foot. Well done. Congratulations to himself from Benny Howe. Let's see the second of 57 varieties that the all-rounder has to offer. Shortish again and pulled into the leg side.
Oh, what a pickup. Oh, and we've seen the old hideous throw that has become such a feature of this competition. And that was the game on a plate there for a second, wasn't it?
Yeah, this lobbed throw is a bit remarkable. It's sort of like it comes out the back of the hand as they throw it. I'm not sure who's been coaching these fielders, but they probably need firing. Short, wide, outside, off stump, and Mousley's missed it by several feet.
There's a hint of shot put in it, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely, there is.
Sort of getting it up before it comes down.
I could never get the shot put. I never understood that technique. It felt all very unnatural.
Never quite got the point.
Oh, we're going to have to interrupt our athletics chat because it looks like Mousley is just leaning edged one 111 yards over mid-off.
It seemed like a pretty perfect Yorker at first glance, didn't it? But then it's been, let's say, he's sort of gone leg side and clipped that 100 metres over mid-off.
Yes, that definitely wasn't meant to go where it's landed, but it's carried an absolute mile. 25 needed from 8 deliveries. Warwickshire still just about in touch as Howell is driven into the offside to backward point for a single. Again, they scamper through. Again, Wokes throws himself through the air to make his ground. He does so successfully. But they need boundaries here, and they need them fast if they're going to stand any chance of this victory, which they absolutely require in their pursuit of qualification. Short again and pushed again into the offside. Again to the backward point gully region, and they're only going to get one. This isn't enough. This isn't enough, Nick.
No, I mean, visibly no. Although they are in the game going to final over, which fair play 10-15 minutes ago, we'd rather written them off by this stage, hadn't we? But who are we going to have? Ben Charlesworth to finish. He's got 23 runs to defend here, 20 something runs to defend.
23 runs to defend, 6 balls to get them in.
We have at least got an event of sorts coming into the final over.
Well, we've got a final over, which is good. Haven't had that in many games. Right hand around the wicket and pulled into the leg side, and it's going to clear fine leg, and that'll be 4 off the first ball of the over. 19 now required from 5 deliveries. Wokes managing to get one away. A bit of a top edge, but he has cleared the fielder. In fact, it might have even come off the gloves. He must have mighty strong hands, Chris Wokes. And that's 1, 2 bounces into the rope, and 4 to the Warwickshire total. 19 needed, 5 deliveries left. Charlesworth coming over the wicket now, it seems, to Wokes. A bit short again, and Wokes has tried to just prod that into the leg side, and he's going to take one, and another one of those weird shot put throws comes in from the man at short third man, and that's not enough for Warwickshire. That's not enough. They need a boundary here, and they need one very, very soon. And in all honesty, Dan Mousley's digital self has not looked like hitting one, apart from when he accidentally leading edged one over mid-off for 6. Charlesworth into Mousley. He's pulling through the leg side, and that's to square leg, and they will have to only take one. And Nick, with 17 required from 3, they need a 6 off each delivery. I think this game is over.
And a 5, of course. Don't write off. Do not write off.
Thank you for that erudite contribution. I'm so glad I have you as an analyst on this game. Right, here comes Charlesworth, and again it's short. He's beaten the outside edge there of Wokes. This is excellent bowling by Ben Charlesworth at the death.
Fair play, though, without being overly analytical about this game of virtual 5-over cricket. There has been a clear plan, hasn't there? Just not to be full. And as we've seen, Chris Wokes has sort of looked to block his last 2 balls, which seems an interesting option in the circumstances. But I guess he doesn't want to be bowled out.
And here comes Charlesworth up to the wicket, outside off stump. Oh my word! Oh, everything's gone wrong.
And there she goes.
And that's the end of the game. What a very, very limp way to end this match. Attempting a single to James Bracey, who was only about 3 foot behind the stumps. Remarkable, given some of these bowlers have been coming down at nearly 90 miles an hour. He's taken the bails off, and the batsman's not even in sight. In fact, they might not have even managed to cross again. And it's a quite extraordinary attempt at a single. I guess they had to try and find runs from somewhere. But that'll be the end of the game. And Gloucestershire have won this one quite comfortably in the end by 16 runs, defending their total of 66, as Warwickshire managed only 50 in pursuit. Miles Hammond managed 22 from 12. That set the tone, and Charlesworth popped up with a quick fire 11 late on, and that set them 66, 67 to win. Ian Bell with his 22 from just 8 balls, including one of the most magnificent cover drives for 6 you're ever likely to see. Got them within touching distance at one point, and they needed 23 off the final over, but it wasn't quite enough. And it is Gloucestershire who take the victory, their third of the competition. And you would think, Nick, that Gloucestershire are now all but secure in the semi-finals.
You would think, you would indeed. It was a pretty accomplished display, wasn't it? Sort of a lot of runs, and then something that almost resembled a pretty clear plan with the ball. It was there were elements of that were thoroughly competent. Let's go as far as saying.
Well, thoroughly competent is as high a piece of praise as you're likely to receive from Nick Friend, so well done to Gloucestershire there. Obviously, victory for them means they're 3 wins from 3, on the edge of qualification. Warwickshire, though, on the edge of elimination. Thank you for tolerating the stand-in pairing of myself and Nick Friend for today's game. We can promise you that normal service will be resumed going forwards with commentators who actually do it for a living. Anyway, from us, that's it. Back to the studio. So yes, I've hot-footed it straight from the SCG back to the studio to give you the Group 1 standings after that victory for Gloucestershire against Warwickshire. And as you can see, Gloucestershire are sitting pretty at the top of the Group 1 standings, having taken their third victory from 3 matches so far. For Dan Mousley and Warwickshire, it's a bit of a more difficult situation. They've lost each of their games in Group 1 and will really struggle, barring an absolute miracle, to find a way of qualifying for the last 4. That's just about all we've got time for today from the Quarantine Cup, but don't worry, of course we're back tomorrow and into Group 2. Sussex and Tamal Mills back in action against Leicestershire and Hassan Azad. That's bound to be a cracker. Join us on thecricketer.com and the Cricketers YouTube channel from 7.
Cricket, our national treasure? Or dying irrelevance? Bodyline, tactical genius? Or national disgrace? The 100, inspired innovation? Or misguided mistake? Join the cricket conversation with a subscription to the Cricketer magazine.